Hello and welcome to the Cat Collective. I'm Nina, I'm the channel for this channel, and let's start. Oh, look at that. Okay. What is going on? King of Swords. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. Very nice. And this is it. This is so funny because I actually... Oh, that's funny. Okay. Oh, and the Magician. Oh, so cool. Yeah, okay. And also, I'm noticing that my neighbor's kid is coughing, which all of this just reminds me of the song Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, because in the beginning of the song there's a sneezing and a coughing, and I think it's a very, very important part of the song. And I think it also is a very important part of this message. It's something like in between the finger, this looks like the cat is doing this with fingernails, I don't know, but it's not, because the cat is just holding this in between the fingers, right? And I think there's a very, very important message in this. It really feels like a fish in a fish pond, right? Or in a fish bowl, yeah? And it is really interesting because there's a lot of stuff going on which you can't really see, because this this cat is actually hunting ghosts, right? It's like hunting ghosts. It's like, where's this cat looking at? It's wanting to catch one of those butterflies, but there's no real butterfly there, and it really feels like a bit of if you see the mice in this, so there's a mouse with closed eyes, right, and a mouse with open eyes, and it really feels like a fish in a fish bowl, like in the Pink Floyd song, except that there were two, and that's the thing, I think there's it's just so I was getting this image of a fish in a fish bowl swimming there alone, and then suddenly someone comes and empties a bag of another fish into the bowl, like plonk, plonk. And suddenly there are two fish swimming in the fish bowl, right? And it's like, it's turning the Wheel of Fortune, because it's just when you are alone, imagine being alone in this thing. Imagine this. Like you would lose your mind, I think, right? Because this is a very confined space and there's not much to see, but I would, for the sake of the fish, I would say it would be more a glass bowl, right? Something that the fish can look out of a little bit, right? It's so made of glass. Let's say it's just made of glass, and there's a fish inside, right? And the fish swims inside, and you get almost hallucinations in this, right? Because this is actually not really a sufficient home for a fish, because the fish should be in the ocean, right? Or at least in a lake, right? But the fish is in a bowl. So yeah, well, and being alone in a bowl doesn't really particularly make it easier, right? But then someone comes in and drops a second fish into this occasion, like into this thing, right? Yeah, and this turns the wheel. like this. It's like, what are you doing here, right? And suddenly the fish turn into cats, right? It says, what are you doing here? And, this looks like those fish pellets that you throw into the... Yeah, well, yeah, so that's strange, right? And they're sniffing each other. I think it's a very strange daylight star dinner situation, right? Just because if two fish are swimming in the fishbowl, well, it's suddenly the space gets smaller, right? And they have to share their pellets. Let's hope that the owner then gives them double as much, just so they are both fed, right? It's just a strange situation because they need to get to know each other, right? Because suddenly there are two fish swimming in the bowl and living in the same reality. It really feels like two fish meeting in the same reality bowl, and no one else can go into this reality bowl because two fish have met there, right? It's special somehow, right? And it really feels like there's something in between, with this how it looks here, right? It's something in between, and this also looks for me like waiting, because it seems to me that both of the fish are somehow waiting to be released, right? When they are in the fish bowl, and they are waiting to be released. But why actually? I mean, why would they wait? It just also looks a bit like waiting for food, right? Because of this. It's like, yeah, can you give me some food now? Right? It's a bit like... it really feels like a very special situation, just because when two fish share the same reality, it magnifies everything. You can do twice as much when there are two, right? But it also feels like getting to know phase. But also suddenly it gets weird, because when you are two fish in the same reality, but one of them came from somewhere else, right? So it's a bit... I just get this situation where this cat, when this cat looks out of the wall, or out of this bowl, right? Out of this thing, and looks out into to the world and to the horizon, and just wonders what else is out there, right? Because it gets boring, that's an artificial way of playing, of play. This is not really natural. It's artificial. That's what humans have invented, so cats can live indoors, right? And this is also something where a cat has... when a cat has headaches, a cat will sit in front of a wall. If you don't know, now you know. And it really feels like this space is a little bit too confining for those fish, because it is restricting, because you do have to think about where you swim when you are living in a confined space like this, right? And you have to let out your own you have to be very precise, when what you do, your movements and everything, and it's just too confining. It's nice to know that this fishbowl is there somehow. It really feels like not a normal one, it really feels like some sort of psychedelic fishbowl, right? Okay, well, I own the plot twist just came in, okay. But I gotta talk with you a little bit. The plot twist needs to come in the end. Okay, so I think, the realization is just that this fishbowl is just too small, because it's a fishbowl. And it's not even an aquarium. It's like, it's a fishbowl. It's just a round There's nothing in it, you know. There's no point of getting out of this. It's just boring, right? It gets boring. Yeah, it could be. It could be interesting. It's interesting. The moment is interesting when the hand comes in with the bag with the other fish, and the other fish jumps into the bowl. You know, that's interesting. It's like, bloop, there you are. What are you? You are interesting, right? And you are now in my reality. Ooh, right? But then it gets boring immediately. It's just the first moment of, oh yeah, and then it gets a bit trippy, because then you start to see hallucinations, and somehow everything turns into the view outside of the fish bowl. You know, when you look outside of the glass into a world, it warps a bit, you know, and also through water, it's not a clear perception anymore, and everything you just see everything through the bowl. And this is misleading, you know. And then you start to hunt for the butterflies, and you see butterflies everywhere, even though there's obviously not a butterfly, right? And that's the problem with this fishbowl situation, right? So at first it's magical somehow, just because two fish have realized, okay, we are both in the same reality, and we are both looking outside of this bowl, but somehow the wheel needs to turn. This is not it, because that's just the realization from the closed eye to the open eye, that something needs to happen, and this means that the wheel needs to turn again, you know, for those fish nails. Yeah, the fish there, right? Everywhere. And then it's like, yeah, the wheel needs to turn. They need to, and that's that's the plot twist. But no, I'm looking at the clock. I'm waiting for something more to come in, because the plot twist, as I said, needs to come in the end. Okay, let's pull some more cards. Remind me of the plot twist, please. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's not a plot twist. I didn't expect. Oh, magic! What is going on? Oh, love. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's the plot twist. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. It's to bring it to another different dimension. This is actually somehow otherworldly. It's not a normal fishbowl, and I think by now you have realized there are two people in a fishbowl situation, so you gotta translate it for yourself, right? But the thing is, it is also paired with very spiritual energies, so ET energies. So it's not just two fish in a bowl, right? It's more than that. It's actually magic, and it opens it opens up. Yeah, it's a daylight star windowsill fishbowl dinner situation. It's very strange, okay, but there's a higher purpose behind it. Just because the initial moment when the blindfold gets removed, it has something to do with sight, okay? When the blindfold gets removed in this moment, that's when the wheel is actually turning. So I think I would have preferred if this was like swap, but it doesn't matter. It just says that the movement of the wheel is this way, so it actually fits. So, you know, it just means that the wheel is turning, and the eyesight, the sight is expanding because of an incident like this. You know, it's the moment when the second fish enters the bowl, because it appears for it is just a special moment, because it's the moment of I see you, right? It's this, I see you. this moment, that's the moment where the sight is opened, right? This is the moment, and it's very magical, right? It's a very magical moment just because the sight is open, and the realization is there. Okay, wow, there's magic involved, right? It actually works, right? It's very telepathic, right? It's this. I think the fish in the bowl was waiting and looking for another fish to join, and maybe even asking and praying for it, right? Praying for someone to join the bowl, right? Because it gets lonely in this freaking little thing there, right? It's lonely there. And suddenly, it's just waiting, right? Waiting, when is something to happen. And this causes a big heart opening also, right? Because, if we take this situation and say just that when they see each other, right? When they turn around and see each other, that's love. It's just love, because you know that there's something special about someone who also has the sight, right? Or someone else who just joins your own reality. And that's special. Nonetheless, the issue is the issue with the fishbowl is, at first it feels big. It feels like this bowl is the universe. So big, like an ET, right? It feels like the bowl is as big as it can get, right? Because it's an expansion for everybody involved, just because something magical has happened, right? And the problem is the further it goes inside the bowl, right? And that's why the bird card came up. It's the card of what do you have to release? Yeah. And, you have to release the bowl. Because the bowl is, in the beginning, opening. It's expansion. But it really, really quickly gets confining. Because there are suddenly two fish in the same bowl. And there are more fish out there, of course, right? It's just, this needs to be released. It's just the initial moment of realization of, okay, and there are two fish in the same reality. But after that, the reality needs to be left behind. This is not a good place for fish to be in. And that's where the eagle comes in, right? Holding this, I think, fish, they've got mouth, they can, it really feels like, okay, for me, the plot twist in this was, I saw that this bowl was actually a freaking toilet in the sky in an airplane. And a hand comes in and flushes them down. And they start to fly. And that's another expansion. That's a big one, right? It's the flushing down of this. Of them, both. And now suddenly there are two fish in the air, right? Flying in the air. It's crazy, I know. It's just because the door has been opened, because the fishbowl was actually a toilet. And the manipulation comes to an end, right? Because being in a fishbowl is manipulative. You are in a fishbowl. It's manipulating reality, right? It is, because you're in a fishbowl. It's not a real thing. But luckily, the door has been opened to fly, which is scary for fish especially, because they need water, right? And then suddenly they think that they don't know what to do, right? Because they are in the air, right? But luckily they have been flushed down over the ocean where they belong. So they can then go to the ocean and swim and get to know the real world, right? And that's when the manipulation comes to an end. And ta-da! Enlightenment. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's just a nice way. And that's the wheel of fortune that has been turned for both of them, which is special. And also with ET, there's some otherworldly energy in this, very, very special. It's just the plot twist. Yeah, you know, it went from it's a journey. I just described a journey. I cannot even repeat it. The issue is, though, the fishbowl needs to be released because it's too confining, right? And once that has been achieved, well, there we go. Love. It's a love. It's a lovely story, isn't it? Ah, yeah, love it. So, yeah. I'm gonna pull one of those, even though I'm like, but with those cards, you never know what you get. So, it's very meme-like. Well, it's okay. Let's see. Just bake you some shut the fuck up cakes. Wednesday. See? That's the thing about a fishbowl. There's no good. This is the energy inside the fishbowl. And without my bike, my heart would be empty. Well, you know, vacations. Yeah, you know, it's about creating a new world, you know. If we just forget the words and the time in this, because time, well, we had waiting in this, right? We had waiting, but it just wants to see that this is a new reality that needs to be created, and therefore the old reality needs to be left behind. And it's a bit like finding a special ingredient that has been missing inside your heart, in a way, right? It's just because inside this fishbowl, there's another reality, right? There's it's like finding someone you can go on a very special trip with. And it's this, not just without my bike, it's more, yeah, you do have a bike, yeah, you do have the mental capacity to experience life in a different dimension. It's like, this is one dimension and there's another dimension inside the dimension, right? And yes, you have to, you have that. But when you realize that someone else has got it too, it feels like a vacation. It feels like, oh wow, finally, right? It's like entering a whole different world. Again, the fishbowl, right? And it's magical because it's opening up your perception. So that's all that wanted to be said with this. Yeah, okay. So let's see who this reading is for. I love it. It's very nice. So it's very fortunate also. Just, yeah, the plot twist was funny. Pisces, wow. Well. Kind of fits to the whole fishbowl situation, okay. Yeah, additional info is in the litter box below, and see you next time. Bye-bye.